If you insist on forcing me into an affiliation with anyone else for the good of the cause, then compare me with the old Japanese masters. Their exquisite taste has always delighted me, and I like the suggestive qualities of their aesthetic. These are the words of Claude Monet, the father of Impressionism. Art of the Edo period revitalized the art movement in Japan to a point where it began to have influence over the art world of Western civilization. The painting style of the Edo period comes from the Rinpa school. The Rinpa school is not so much a tangible institution, rather it is the collective identity held by the artists of the Edo period. The subject matter had a focus in illustrating classic Japanese literature as well as the natural world, such as birds, trees, and natural environments. Rinpa artists painted on almost every possible format: fans, screens, scrolls, ceramics, and lacquer objects. The subject matter was often depicted as abstract, using numerous colors and shading arrangements, mixing colors on the surface to create unusual effects, and was often painted over a gold background. Woodblock printing was another method of artistry utilized in Japan. This was originally used as an efficient way of reproducing text, especially for Buddhist texts, but eventually developed into a medium for artistic expression. This method entailed chiseling a design into a block of wood in negative, then applying ink in the now chiseled wooden stamp and pressing it against the intended surface. Woodblock printing became notorious enough to catch the attention of Vincent van Gogh, who was a student of Impressionism. So much so that he designed his studio walls with woodblock printing and even began to experiment with new elements to expand on the process to create brighter colors and greater contrast. The painting shown is a Rinpa art titled Peach Blossom Ideal. This exemplifies the Rinpa school art style. The art piece features a vast natural scenery painted over a golden background. Abstract shapes and curved lines are used throughout the painting, as well as the use of simple colors.
The Edo-Japanese period was a time characterized by economic growth, strict social order, isolation foreign policies, increased environmental protection, and popular enjoyment of the arts. This period started on March 24, 1603, by Tokugawa Ieyasu. During the Edo-Japanese period, the feudal lords started to build palaces. They were usually within the castle, but it was always separate from the main one. These castles were used as residence, offices, and reception halls. These castles were mainly made out of wood due to the fact that it would not collapse as easily as stone by earthquakes. Wood was given a great respect, and they did not conceal it by paint or other coatings. Screens and sliding doors were also used. The Japanese relied on movable screens and sliding doors to divide the rooms. Since the screens tended to be light, they let in light into the rooms. Japanese also used tatami, which were a huge part of Japanese architecture. It was made out of rice straw at the center and covered with rush straw. One famous palace is the palace at Nijo. This palace was built in 1603. This palace was the first shogun at the Edo period. Once the Tokugawa shogunate fell in 1867, Nijo Castle was used as an imperial palace for a little bit before being donated to the city and then opening up to the public as a historical site.
Ideology during the Edo period in Japan was greatly influenced by the Tokugawa family and Neo-Confucianism. During the Edo period, the emperor would select a head from the family to become shogun. At this time, an emperor had no real political authority. It was the shoguns who truly ruled over the land in that matter. And it would be during the reign of the Tokugawa family where the ideals of Neo-Confucianism would rise. Confucianism first originated in China. Confucianism was as respected as Taoism and Buddhism at that time. However, unlike those two, Confucianism wasn't as inspirational or religious. Despite this, Confucianism did earn its place in the 17th article of the Japanese Constitution. It credited Confucianist ideals as the moral foundation of early Japan. Fast forward into the 15th to 16th century, when the Japanese Zen monks have traveled to China and back. With them, they brought the ideals of Zhu Xi, a Chinese scholar from the Southern Song period of China. Zhu Xi came up with the idea of the unity of the three creeds. These three creeds are supposed to be Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. The idea was that these three ideologies would coexist with one another. This is exactly what Neo-Confucianism's goal was to achieve. Many pieces of artwork would depict representations of Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism having friendly interactions. Numerous artworks consisting of this have been made to honor the unity of the three creeds. One example is the piece The Vinegar Tasters. The artwork shows the three founders of Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism surrounding a pot of vinegar. Confucius showing a sour expression, Buddha with a bitter expression, and Lao Tzu with a happy one. Perhaps the piece can be interpreted as the ideologies having their differences, but uniting anyway. Though Neo-Confucianism isn't as popular as it could be, it still has a great influence on Japan.